Mr. Ratan Tata, the chairman of Tata Sons.
Let's hear it for the chairman of Aditya Birla Group, Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla.
Let's hear for Mr. Deepak Parekh, the chairman of HDFC Limited.
A huge round of applause for the managing director of Bajaj Auto Limited, Mr. Rajiv Bajaj.
Let's hear for Mr. Ashok Reddy, the managing director and co-founder of Team Lease Services.
And of course, our mentor, our guide, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Kashmir, Professor Talat Ahmad.
Today with us, we have the master translators of dreams into realities, the shining stars from the galaxy of business fraternity.
Indeed, Fiza. I mean, what a wonderful event this is to have such personalities under one roof. And wow, what an opportunity for us students to interact with people who we used to see in our dreams.
Undoubtedly, Basil.
Of course, I think this historical event deserves the loudest of applause.
Now I request Ms. Aisha and Mr. Yasir to honor our dignitaries. Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Mr. Ratan Tata.
Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla.
A huge round of applause for Mr. Deepak Parekh.
Mr. Rajiv Bajaj.
Let's hear it loud for Mr. Ashok Reddy.
Professor Talat Ahmad. Now I kindly request our guests to unveil the stone with their auspicious hands.
Dear friends, a huge round of applause because this is the inauguration of the IT block.
Let's hear for this also. This is the stone-laying foundation of Women's Hostel. And Research Scholar Hostel at Zakura campus.
Okay, now since I can see a lot of energy in the auditorium right now, to just show the kind of energy, enthusiasm that we have, a huge round of applause for all of us. Now, I would request our Honorable Vice Chancellor for the presentation, please.
Good morning to all of you, and A very warm Salaam Alaikum. Friends, what Rahul ji had promised us last September has come true. It's a dream come true. We wanted, the students' demand was that we should have the corporate houses in Kashmir in our university. So they are all here and we should give them a big hand. These gentlemen do not really need any introduction, but just for the protocol's sake, I will briefly mention Mr. Ram Naval Tata, Chairman, Tata Sons. He has been a recipient of Padma Bhushan, one of the most distinguished civil award in 2000, and Padma Vibhushan in 2008. And we all know he's a big business tycoon and a very respected family. Shri Kumar Mangalam Birla ji, he is the chairman of Aditya Birla Group, one of the largest conglomerate corporations in India. The Birla Group is very strong leadership, and it has their business, and they are covering almost 40 countries world over with their business houses and their activities. Mr. Birla institutionalized the concept of triple bottom line accountability, represented by economic success, environmental responsibility, and social commitments. Mr. Rajiv Bajaj belongs to one of the prominent business family of India, the Bajaj Group. The group's flagship company, Bajaj Auto, is ranked world's 4th largest two-wheeler and three-wheeler manufacturing company, and it is well known and a big brand in the whole world. We have Mr. Deepak Parekh, who is the chairman of the HDFC. Deepak Parekh Sahab has won several awards. To mention a few, Businessman of the year 1996 for the Business India, JRD Tata Corporate Leadership Award, All India Management Association. In 2010, he was the first international recipient of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales Outstanding Achievement Award for his contributions over many years of financial and accountancy profession. Mr. Ashok Reddy is the Managing Director, Indian Institute of Job Training, and co-founder of Team Lease Services, India's leading staffing solution company. VSAT is one of their big launch in the country. So I think I have covered everybody. So now I welcome you all here, and it's very nice to be here that you have all the students of Kashmir University and our colleges which are affiliated to come and interact with you all. I will not take long. I just wanted to say a few words that from September 26, 2011, the achievements that has been done as promised by Rahul ji, our students have gone in October 31st to 4th November 2011 and had interaction with many of the top ministers and many other academics in Delhi. And then they learned a lot and they have lots of things to say. 800 job letters were handed over in the valley under the Udan and Himayat program, which was again an effort that had started when Rahul ji was here last time. A cafe day is being constructed. I am sure next time all of you can have coffee in our CCD, which is going to be there very soon. A very important announcement for the students. The good news is, in the 12th five-year plan, we are going to have a special package of non-net fellowship for students, which has been agreed by Shri Kapil Sibbalji, and I have been told, especially from there, that this is true, and I thought that I should announce that. And just few days earlier, I am very happy to announce that we have got a special package of 30 crore, and that is for our new campus of Zakura. So this is phase 1 of Zakura, where we are going to move some of the departments because of the overcrowding in the university. And as I told you, I will not take much time. I will give more time to our delegates here, the panelists, and our students and teachers to start the interaction. Thank you very much and welcome again.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good morning to all of you. This is Sabahat Nazir welcoming you all. Building bridges. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered over here to witness and be part of the panel discussion on the theme Building Bridges, Students of Jammu and Kashmir and Economic Opportunity in the Country. Agar firdos baroe zami ast, agar firdos baroe zami ast, hami asto, hami asto, hami ast. Thank you. Jammu and Kashmir, the land of mesmerizing valleys, picturesque mountains, beautiful water bodies, and yes, efficient and able human resources. The students of Jammu and Kashmir have proved their mettle at state, national, and international level. My dear friends, we all are aware that Kashmir Valley is inundated with young, energetic, and innovative talent. Being an integral part of the country, we would like to contribute to the overall development of the country in every possible manner if given opportunity by big personalities like you all. Kashmir's challenging unemployment scenario has been exacerbated by long and complex conflict and protracted instability. The tenuous local economy has left many Kashmiris with very few or no options of economic engagement. While unemployment impacts all sections of society, it particularly impacts the youth of Kashmir Valley, who represent over 71% of the total population of Kashmir Valley. Of the large cohort of youth between the age groups of 18 to 30 years, an estimated 48%, I repeat, an estimated 48% are currently unemployed. Eradicating unemployment is one of the toughest challenges and a major problem that must be overcome. We believe that there is hope for better economic future in Kashmir. With this, I would now like to request Mr. Rahul Gandhi to please take the panel discussion further. Sir, please. It's left to your discretion, sir. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
I'd like to welcome the titans of industry and the young students here. I had come here last year and I had promised you that mine will not be an event. It will be a lifelong journey of understanding. It will be an attempt to understand your perspective, to understand what you have been through, to understand your difficulties. Vice Chancellor has read out what we have done, what we have tried to do. But from my perspective, that is not what is important. From my perspective, it is more important to understand what you are facing, the difficulties you are facing, and to stand with you and work with you to improve the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Last time, a lot of the students said to me that big businesses don't come to Kashmir. And a lot of you who would be here, who would have been here last time, will recall that I said, why don't we speak to some of the leaders, business leaders, to understand what are the type of things that they worry about. I had mentioned to you that businesses at the end of the day are looking for business. They're looking for a situation which is stable. So I'm very happy to have them here. They're going to have a free-wheeling discussion with you. They're going to be blunt with you where that is necessary. They're going to be honest with you where that is necessary, and you should be honest with them. This is a communication, and from my perspective, it is the second communication, and I intend to continue having these communications with you. I intend to build a relationship with you. Finally, a lot of people say that Kashmir is a beautiful place. Today I was staying in the guest house where I used to stay with my grandmother when she was alive. And I was looking outside the window and I said, look, what a beautiful place. I looked at the Dal Lake and I said, what a beautiful place this is. And then I realized that actually the really beautiful thing about Kashmir is not the place, but the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Now, we would like to start the most awaited session, yes, the question-answer session. Umran, please start the session.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hang on. Well, wow, it's indeed a moment which has, filled me with all sorts of ebullience and effervescence. Just look at them. I am being the student of management. I was always surrounded with the books, with the cases of the dignitaries like this. Now today, I can see life. It's indeed a moment which has filled me with all sorts of elan. It's a moment, historical moment. Never before in the history of Kashmir, we had academicians like this. We had academic program like this. It's only today, and I want to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Professor Talat Ahmed for this. Well, since for the businessman, the time is money, we got to make every moment over here quite effective and efficient. Even if you look the way they sit around there, that's kind of a learning for us. Just look at the way they sit, look at the way they drink the water. That's the way you got to learn in the corporate. Now, in order to let me make some rules clear. We have two mics. One, I will be holding it. Second will be with a buzzer. We won't be giving you the mic. You won't ask a question from a mic alternate. It will be an alternative basis. And we will make our level best to reach every nook and the corner of the convocation hall. I know you all are excited, but let's do it in a very proper way. So can I have hands for the first question, please? Let's start with the lady over there.
Respected dignitaries, a very good morning to all of you. My name is Shabrina Siddiqui and I'm from MBA Department, University of Kashmir. So, as in the introduction, it has been already mentioned, we the students of J&K State, we are really talented. We have got potential in us. And whenever we have got the chance to show that potential, we have done it with our dedication, with our enthusiasm. But what we are lacking are the large-scale opportunities. We don't get, we don't get chance to really work for the large corporate sector, the business tycoons. So my humble request for you is, rather I welcome you to take some initiatives for the youth over here, so that they won't even get the chance to work for you, but to work with you. And apart from that, we have got that spark, the spark needs to be ignited. And I would like you people to take the bold step to ignite that spark, which will not act as a platform for the development of the state, but in turn the development of our country. So I would like you people to answer.
So firstly, let me say that coming here brings back a flood of memories, because I've spent all my childhood summers here. So it's beautiful to be in Kashmir, and it's beautiful to be meeting with all of you. I'd like to just say very quickly that I work with a very small NGO in Bombay, and incidentally that was started by 5 Kashmiri youth. It's called Miracle Couriers, and it employs mute and deaf to deliver couriers. And just having worked with those 5 boys and girls from Kashmir gives me a sense of the kind of commitment, the kind of passion, and the kind of organizational ability that they have. And I think that these are qualities that none of us on this dais doubt about Kashmiri youth. I think that if I speak for my own group, we are looking at growing 1.5 times in the next 4 years. And one of our biggest challenges is to have talent. And there is no reason why we would not encourage Kashmiri talent to come and work with us. I think whether it's talent from Maharashtra or Gujarat or Kashmir, I think it's irrelevant. I think what we're looking for is talent. What we're looking for is people with merit and education. And I think that we would very much welcome Kashmiri youth to India, to corporate India, to come and work with us and work shoulder and shoulder with, shoulder to shoulder with other youth from other parts of your country.
Like Kumar said, it's been a great pleasure to be here, particularly under the initiative taken by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, which has in fact ignited that fire that you speak of. Let me just say that we can all be here and exchange pleasantries. But perhaps what I would like to initiate is to say that we can do something discreet. And what I'd like to offer is that when I return back to Bombay, the Tata Group will establish a program with the university of having internship in a controlled manner that will give the Kashmiri youths a chance to apply, to work side by side with us. And we have found most internships end up in permanent employment. And permanent employment leads to word-of-mouth addition with companies, their associate companies, their affiliate companies. And so what I would like to do is to make that commitment that I will interact with you, sir, in putting together an internship program and perhaps with it some stipends that could become the basis on which we can break the barrier that I think industry, I have to say, has not looked consciously, not unconsciously, but consciously at what wealth of intellect and capability exists in Kashmir. So we need to correct that, and I think having been here today gives us that opportunity, and I think we need to rise to that occasion and as Mr. Gandhi said, savor the capability of the people. It's a lovely place, but we have great intellect in the human capital that exists in this state. So I think I would like to make that offer.
I'm representing the financial sector in India, all aspects of the financial sector, banks, insurance, asset management, housing finance, and we are having a massive program of growth in the Kashmir, in Jammu and Kashmir. We are one of the largest employers in Kashmir in our bank. We have about 60 branches, 41, and all this in the last 2.5 years. Most of the growth has come in the last 2.5 years. Similarly, what I'm willing to commit is that in our entire group, we will send our HR people for internship and recruitment to your university every year. I'm willing to give that commitment. And you know, in HDFC Bank, we have a certification program. Across the country, the problem is not a Kashmir issue, it's an Indian issue, that graduates are unable to get employment because they lack a little bit of training. What you learn in the university is not enough to automatically get a job. You need a little bit of specialization. So we have started in Kashmir certification job that a graduate can come and get a certificate in 6 months on all aspects of banking, all aspects of how a bank is run, how all the systems are in place. With that certification, I'll also see if we can increase the number of students we can take, because apart from employment in HDFC, the whole banking sector. And I would also like to say that the Indian Bank Association, the IBA, which represents banking in India, this year I think the banks are going to hire 100,000 people across the country. Insurance industry is going to hire 100,000 people across the country. So why can't we get the IBA and the insurance agencies, the parent body, to come and have a dialogue with your university and see what best we can do. So ma'am, your question about not working for us in Kashmir, but working with us and for us in other parts of the India can be taken care of.
We live by a motto of putting India to work, and I don't think we make any distinction between state, religion, or a geographical distribution of the population. And I think the key is connecting the element of the talent pool or the educated youth that we have to the job market that exists across industries and segments. And as was mentioned earlier, there is a deficit in the aspect of the educational corridor in making the person job ready. And I think we've already started taking baby steps around the aspect of training, especially in the J&K youth. Some batches have kicked off, where we are trying to address that element of a training that effectively prepares the students for the jobs. And thereafter, it's an element of trying to place them in local or other jobs. Because at the end of the day, we can bring training to the students, but we have to take students to the jobs. So as the job sector opens up, whether in J&K or outside, the willingness to connect and participate in trying to find the required jobs will be a key variable and a focus for us as we go forward.
Hello everyone. I'm in Kashmir after almost 30 years. So thank you very much for your very, very warm welcome. Not only here, but right from the time I left the airport, the first 4 motorcycles I saw were Bajaj Pulsar, Bajaj Pulsar, Bajaj Pulsar in Toyota. And I would be very happy that just as Pulsar is used by people here, I would love it if people from here would come and make some of those Pulsars to be sold and to be used in Kashmir. So from my side, I have a request of you, because now it seems to be that most people are going to work either for Mr. Tata or are already working for Mr. Parekh. So some of you please hold back. We would like to come here and take you with us to our facilities in Uttarakhand, in Pune, in Europe, in Africa. I would like to take you with us to see some of the exciting things we do. And I would also like to say this. Mr. Gandhi said that we must express also what we expect of you. I expect only 2 things of you. Have a dream, because we must all have a dream, and have an idea with which you think you can fulfill that dream. If you have a dream and if you have an idea, that would be wonderful. And you know, sometimes, let me say this in the end, as businessmen, we are supposed to have vision. And sometimes in the process of having a vision, perhaps we look very far. We don't look at what is right under our nose. So I think Mr. Gandhi and your Vice Chancellor have invited us here, shown us what is under our nose, and we will all apply ourselves to this task. Thank you very much.
Okay, second question from this side. We'll be taking one question from this side, the other question from that side. Anyone from this side?
A very good morning to everyone. I am Anam Siraj from the Department of Business and Financial Studies. As my friend said, Kashmir has enormous talent, great zeal to learn things, and we here not only work with innovation and creativity, but we carry with us the various business ethics we have been taught, and to work in a team and in a group. But we can only work proper when we get the proper education. Our education sector, I'm talking about the private sector, isn't up to mark, because we don't have many private institutions, private professional institutions, whereby our youth can, get those qualifications and get in turn trained for the future. So I would like you all to pay a bit of heed to this, as in we need these private professional institutes whereby we can get ourselves, trained for the future to come. Thank you.
Can I just add to what she said? I had a small discussion before we came to this room. I have requested all these gentlemen that we should have a long-term partnership with the university. We can have some institution of research, some institution of training, where we can have some of the experts coming from these groups and train our children. So I think that will be a good step, and your suggestion is quite welcome. So please, you can start.
So you raised the point about education, and I'd like to offer to the Vice Chancellor that I'm the Vice Chancellor for BITS Pilani in India. I don't know how many of you have heard about BITS Pilani. So I think that what we can do right away is to start an exchange program with students, with teachers. We can start an exchange program about, for example, recently we have upgraded our curriculum in every subject that you teach here. We've looked at the best curriculum across the world and seen which universities offer the best curriculum in each subject and upgraded our own curriculum. So several things from exchange of teachers, students, maybe for one semester each, sponsorships in terms of grants for research. I think it takes time to build new universities, but this is something that can start in the next 3 months, and it can be done in a very meaningful way. So that's an offer that I would like to make to you.
We go for the next question. And then also I see that Mr. Bajaj has a list of things to say. So we should save some time. So let him also say, maybe many of your questions will be already here with him. So we'll give him chance also to speak few minutes before we really get into lots of discussion and finish all the time. Okay, so please keep that in mind.
So let's start with the third question.
Assalamu alaikum to all of you, and a very good morning, welcome.
Just a minute, please.
Sorry to interrupt, but if you have a question for any specific person, if you have a more targeted question that you want to ask Mr. Tata or Mr. Parekh or somebody, then you can just ask specifically to that person as well.
Assalamu alaikum to all of you over here. So myself, Abdul Wahid Loan, I'm from South Campus, University of Kashmir. So my question goes to Mr. Tata. There are a lot of students from IT, computer science, business and management, electronics, and many other subjects are supposed to carry out their project works, internships, and dissertations outside the state. But we don't get any financial assistance from our university, so it's very difficult for us to afford that. So we welcome you to establish a technical center, or we can say an innovation center over here in Kashmir, in collaboration with the University of Kashmir, where skill development programs can be initiated, training for different software programs can be started, so that these project works and internships can be made easy to perform by the students over here. And also, the cell can be used as a source of recruitment, so that it will become a training cum recruitment process. I hope this humble submission can bridge the gap between the academia and industry, as we have the topic of discussion as building bridges, which I think can go a long way in the upliftment of economy of J&K in particular, and India's economy in general. Thank you, sir.
I'd be very happy to initiate something with the university, with the Vice Chancellor, to see whether we can support the creation of an innovation center or a curriculum of such a nature. In addition to which, it seems to me one of the issues we should do is, I don't believe we really pay enough attention to campus placements from the University of Kashmir, which is something I will undertake and promise to do, that when we look at campus placements, we will send our people to this university also, so that if we have ignored it unconsciously, then we will bring that back and you will have as much opportunity to participate in the milieu of jobs and opportunities that are available in other parts of India in our group. In addition to which, I think curricula, like has just been mentioned, an innovation center that will spark new ideas, which will be perhaps interdisciplinary, which it would need to be in order to be truly innovative, is something we can work together and see what we can put together. I make that commitment. Thank you very much for that suggestion.
Okay, next question from this side.
Good morning, dignitaries. Welcome to Kashmir. My name is Shashank Shekhar, and I'm a student of National Institute of Technology, Srinagar. Sir, I am not a resident of this place. I'm not a native of Jammu and Kashmir state. But then I do notice a lot of brain drain from here. People from IT sector, they are immensely talented, but they leave this place. They go outside to find good jobs. Of course, they do find those good jobs outside. They earn respect there, they earn good money, but eventually they want to return to their homeland, their motherland. So when they come here, when they return, no big IT company is waiting for them. They get underemployed here. In this regard, sir, I would like to make a suggestion to establish a better software technology park in the beautiful, God-blessed Kashmir Valley. Sir, Mr. Gandhi and Mr. Tata, can I have your view? Thank you, sir.
You know, I don't think I should make idle promises. I think what we should do is certainly look at each of the suggestions you've made, convert them into viable and workable projects. There's nothing worse than to have a dead project. The project must make sense. It must attract the kind of purpose that it is meant to have when conceived. So the only promise I make to you is that we will undertake to study this, with the university work towards making such an initiative viable, and if so, in fact, indulge in it, so that what you say very truthfully and very realistically is in fact a void when you return, can be met. It will need an environment that will foster this. And I think, as Mr. Gandhi said, it takes both hands to clap, and the feeling that the industry may have, which I hope will be dispelled in the course of time, must also be recipient to the kind of efforts that we are making. And I think it'll go very far on that basis. And thank you again for that suggestion.
See, I'll be a little blunt. And as I was mentioning to the gentleman sitting on the stage, business people are after business. They will only go to places where they get business. And in order to get business, one of the first things they will tell you is you need stability and you need trust. This discussion, and the reason I have brought them here, and the reason I will keep coming back here, is because we need to develop a long-term relationship of trust. The moment the long-term relationship of trust exists, moment trust exists, you will find things will start to move. And I agree with Mr. Tata. The idea is not to set up
concepts, or projects that will fail. The idea is to set up projects that will succeed. And I want them to be blunt with you about what they think will not work and what they think will work. What I want to impress is that this is a journey. It is a journey of all of us. And we will have to work together to say, okay, this is working, this is not working. Let's leave this, let us do this. Let us start this discussion, let us make it a deep discussion. Second time I'm coming here, you are as bright as any other students I've come across. I've been to a huge number of universities in this country. I've been to BITS Pilani, and there is no difference between the students here and there. You are missing out on the opportunity because of the environment here and the lack of trust. Let us work to build that. And you will see the results will start to come.
Next question from this side. Yeah, lady over there.
Hello, sir. I'm Afshan Nazir from Business School. J&K has attracted 6,500 crores from last 4.5 years. Investment in Kashmir is 6,500 crores. And as considering the GDP contribution from J&K, it's just 1%. So opportunities are there. Literacy rate is 68%. That means human resources there. Investment opportunities are there. As a business student, I believe it's a good market to invest. So if big tycoons like you invest here, it's got to be profitable. The already existing many organizations have invested, like HDFC, it's doing profitably in Kashmir. So why not some others? And I remember some statement from Mr. Reddy saying that TeamLease concentrates on nurturing the people below them. So this time we want you people to nurture our state, so that if today we are contributing 1% to the GDP, tomorrow it will be many folds. We want economic development in Kashmir, because we want economic stability in Kashmir rather. We want to ask for scholarships, fellowships, affiliations with the universities. Maybe it's much more I'm asking for, but I know that the people standing on the dais are people who are transformational leaders, who have attracted foreign investments. Now, revenue of Tata Group is 65% from foreign investments rather than from domestic investments. So I ask, why aren't they investing here? I ask the leaders there sitting, not the industrialists sitting there. Thank you, sir.
So I'd like to say that we have a couple of investments here. We have Ultratech cement is used quite extensively. In fact, the new channel that is being built, that's being inaugurated, 80% of the cement that's been used is that of Ultratech. We are also talking actively about taking over a cement unit that exists here today and then expanding that if we can take it over. We also have a mobile service by the name of Idea. आप में से कोई Idea subscribers हैं? Okay, are you happy? I hope you're happy subscribers. So we are looking at doing different things, and now that the whole environment is so different, I think that it's much more conducive for us to come in and make investments. Just like Rahul was saying, I completely endorse that. Rahul ji bata rahe the ki you need conducive environment, stability for industry to come in. So ab jo ye stability hum dekh rahe hain 2 saal se, so there'll be much more investment that I think we will make into Kashmir now.
Well, now we have been asking questions, we have been asking for scholarship. Is there someone who has something to discuss with them? You have to ask something for them. Is there someone? Okay.
Warm greetings to everyone present. I'm Umar Imtiaz from Business School. So I have been hearing the gentlemen over there a discussion regarding what they are giving us. I have a simple question to ask. Being a business student, I know that there are so many opportunities in the market over here. We can see that the telecom sector has improved over here. We can see that the industries regarding to the finance has really worked well over here. So apart from this, we have got tourism industries, lot more horticulture, and many more. I can say a number of the industries. But ultimately is the opportunity given to us. We can't tag everything to the stability over here. I want to just ask what is back of my head, a simple question. Is it other than the stability that is the main reason? Is it the lack of the resources? Or is the inadequate infrastructure or the absence of the economic policy in the state? That's the major concern. Thank you.
Actually, it is only stability, and you see whatever growth has happened in the recent years. And if the stability continues, if peace continues in the valley, you will see many more businesses come up. You know, one of the biggest disappointments we have in the sector is that the credit deposit ratio, you being a business student, is the lowest in Jammu and Kashmir. All India, the average is 75, which means if you get 100 rupees deposit, you give 75 back as loans in that part, in that area, in that state. Kashmir's rate is only 40% all India. So if you collect 100 rupees from savers across the room, only 40 is given back as loans to start your businesses or loans to the people of Kashmir. So the credit deposit ratio is skewed in India, is skewed in your state, and we need to build that up. And if you have business opportunities, we can lend money to these small entrepreneurs who are starting new businesses. But businesses from outside will also come when stability comes. If the stability continues, that is what we have to ensure. Because for a long period of time, it was a troubled state and people were reluctant to come. I must tell you that we employ about 1,000 people in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. And during the difficult days, our ATMs were kept open by all you people, the staff who works for HDFC. Despite such difficult times, we ensured that the money was put in the ATM, so facilities were available for withdrawal from the Kashmiri accounts, clients of ours. So the people are doing excellent work for us in Kashmir. And if stability is there, we can even double, triple our operations over a period of time.
I think we have a question from this side.
May I just add a little bit with a little difference to what Mr. Parekh said? To some extent, I think industry has not invested here, partly due to ignorance. It's not just instability. And I believe that instability comes from, in part, from the lack of prosperity. When there's prosperity, there's usually less instability. What I'd like to say today is something quite perhaps different. If you look at the United States through the 70s, what really made the United States grow, it was the startup companies, the small companies where intellectual capital existed, where ideas existed. And I'm making a statement that those intellects and those minds, etc., exist here. Perhaps one of the things that might be done is use the university as did MIT and Stanford, where students had an idea, they put their idea before basically the university or their college. MIT or Stanford took a stake in that new startup business, attracted venture capitalists. In this case, it would be other industries from India or funds from India. And we look at fostering startup companies based on ideas by Kashmiris that people would vet and consider and bring investment to these homegrown businesses, in addition to everything else we've talked about. But I think that would give the initiative and the incentive to you as young people to do something. And I think it's for us as industry to encourage that. Out of those startups have come Intel, Microsoft, Apple. So those could be the kinds of success stories that we could look at in the valley. And it would take your initiative and your innovation, supported by industry that looks at those kind of sparks to spark the economy. So might I suggest that we should encourage in the university receipt of such startup things and create a forum that could look at this, that the university could project, such as MIT and Stanford have done so successfully over time.
Definitely like to do whatever is the suggestion, and I will be in touch with all of you and see how the university and the state goes with these developments.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Yasmin from DVFS, and actually I have two questions. And my first question is for Mr. Deepak Parekh. That our state has number of private sector banks, as you can take example of HDFC Bank, but their CD ratio is very low. As you said, it's only 40%. So why you hesitate to give credit to the we can say the general public and entrepreneurs of the state, because this leads to the capital flight. And why you hesitate to give a loan to the public of this state? And now second question is for Mr. Gandhi, that don't you think that there should be a proper legislation for this to keep check on these private banks, so that these CD ratios should be properly checked, and the problems which we are facing right now due to the lack of proper, okay, say that money supply, and due to which we are really facing number of problems, so that we will not face it in the future. Don't you think that there should be a proper legislation? Thank you.
See, I am quite convinced that over a period of time, the CD ratios will increase in Kashmir. I think tourism is totally underestimated. Tourism is growing. The few hours that we have been here we've been hearing phenomenal stories about the number of tourists that have started coming to the valley, and there are limited number of hotels, limited rooms, limited places for people to stay. Tourism is a huge employment possibility. If people are starting tourism agencies, tourism facilities for tourists, I think the financial institutions will be more than happy to give money. And it's not that we are shying away from giving money, it is a proposal has to be viable. If we get unviable, a bank has to lend and collect the money. And if our people over here, it is empowered, our branch people here are empowered to give loans. If the proposal they find is viable, I'm sure they will give the loans. Only thing is that if they're not viable, if the income streams are not there, then it's very difficult to lend money, because we have to collect the money. But tourism is one area which can grow rapidly, and tourism creates large number of employment, whether it is guides or whether it's tourist buses, cars, a huge amount, apart from the bigger picture, the hotel industry.
I agree with Mr. Parekh. See, bank lends money when it makes money. And it needs to, you need to have feasible projects, feasible ideas for the bank to lend money so that it can make money. If you have peace and quiet, stability, more and more business ideas are feasible. It is much easier. There is a hidden cost to business ideas of instability. And part of what they will tell you is that they would rather invest in another state because that hidden cost doesn't exist in that other state. There is a hidden cost of the threat of violence, the threat of something going wrong, and that is what we have to slowly reduce. I also agree with Mr. Tata that it is actually a cycle. So it is not good enough just to say, bhai, let's get stability. You can also take actions that will improve stability. You can take preemptive actions that will actually improve the situation. And I think this is one such action where we are having a conversation with you. Last time I came here, there was a misunderstanding. Big businesses don't want to come to Kashmir. It's actually not true. Big businesses want to make money. And it is easier to make money in an environment which is stable. And I'm pretty sure that as stability comes into Kashmir, as trust develops, you will start to accelerate and you will start to go faster than a lot of the other states. Because you're very dynamic people, you're very capable people. So I don't think a law is necessary. Thank you.
I think we have a question from faculty now.
If I might just add to that point, sometimes it's difficult to legislate for everything that is required. Over a period of time, enforcing the unenforceable becomes a problem. So by creating that legislation, you'd probably drive the business away from here, then let the environment change to bringing about the change that is required.
Good afternoon, sir.
We have a question from this side first.
Okay, thank you. I'm Imtiazul Haq from the Department of Economics. As a teacher, there has been an interesting debate that whether it is the stability that gives rise to the prosperity or the prosperity gives rise to the stability. And I agree with the views of Mr. Ratan Tata that it is the prosperity that gives rise to the stability. But the question then arises, what is the source of the prosperity? It, of course, is the creation of the employment opportunities by way of making the investments. But then we come to the basic question that how these employment opportunities can be created, especially within our own state of Jammu and Kashmir. I have also listened to the various questions and the queries raised by the students that we have the enormous human resource potential. Admitted, not only that, but I am proud to say that we have substantial economic resources. And I will be mentioning just 2 or 3. But what then is the problem that we are not able to create the employment opportunities? The only thing is that there's a mismatch of the human resource development and the material resource base. Our skill formation is not in line with the resource potential so that these resources could be exploited at an optimal level. The result is that all our resources are underutilized, misutilized. I will be talking just only about 3 sectors, although we have many shortly because of the paucity of time. The first of all is the handicraft sector. Number 2 is the tourism sector. And number 3 is the power sector. And also one of the sectors, I will be taking them one by one. Let's come to the handicraft sector first of all. We have an advantage that this sector is environment friendly. It does not lead to the environmental degradation. Number 2, this sector, the employment opportunities can be created with meager investments. Number 3, it has the potential to absorb a lot of employment. And number 4, the products, the handicraft products of the Jammu and Kashmir, they are renowned at the world levels. It has the ability to penetrate the international markets, to earn the foreign exchange. Now then, what happens when there is a mismatch between the skill formation and the resource potential? We have not been able to, this is surprising, and this may please be taken seriously, that the adjusting rod between the mismatch is the right type of education so that it can lead to the creation of the skills which are in line with the resource potential. I would like to ask that the University of Kashmir itself or the government of the Jammu and Kashmir, how far they have been able to do justice with this area by declaring it as a thrust area. It may be existing on the papers, but nothing is being done practically. I would like to ask this August gathering that how many departments and the institutions we have established, especially the departments producing the graduates and postgraduates in the business management, etc. Do we have produced any MBA student having a specialization in the handicraft sector itself? The answer is big no. We could just utilize that in our own economy and then we are not dependent upon the rest of the country or elsewhere for the employment opportunities. Substantial resources. Similarly, we have another sector that is the tourism sector. There's a dearth of institutions producing those personnel professionals who could deal with this industry and give new dimensions to it, especially when we know that we are so important at international levels, a huge foreign exchange earning sector. Similarly, there is another sector, which is the horticulture sector. Though we produce millions of tons of apple, but we are not being able to add value to that. We have not set up a chain work of the food processing agro industries with the minimum of the investments. And what is unfortunate that our education system does not provide the graduates and postgraduates with those qualifications, with those skills who can take up these ventures. So the thing is that write-up of the education is required to remove this mismatch, and for it is a policy question. It's for the planners, policy makers, and those who are at the helm of affairs. The power sector is one more sector. Please bear with me, just for 1 minute, sir. We have a substantial economic source, that's power, generated from this water. This water now has assumed the significance because rightly said by somebody that one of the world wars will be fought on the water resources. We have 20,000 megawatts of energy that could be generated from our water sources. We can compare ourselves with the Middle East and the Central Asian countries in case of they are possessing the hydrocarbon resources, deriving the fossils, this energy from the fossils fuel, but at the same time polluting the environment, and those resources are exhaustible. In our case, water resources are eco-friendly and they are non-exhaustible. What comes in between that, we are not able to exploit 20,000 megawatts, which have been found technically and economically feasible. This is a surprise that our own state power projects, they reap only 5% of this 20,000 megawatt energy. Only just below 1,000 megawatts is harnessed. With the result that...
Let them answer this.
Let's have the expert opinion on this.
Well, that was a long question.
He is an academic.
Okay. Let me just say this first, that I don't think any of us are saying that we make stability and prosperity a chicken and egg situation. It's not a question of what comes first and what comes second. I think we are all agreeing, and I can see that in your questions, that the two will go hand in hand together. Things are already so much better, and I think we have seen examples of how industry and commerce is coming to this place. So I don't think it is a sequential issue. I think it was Aristotle who said that courage is the first of all virtues, because without courage, we cannot act on any other virtue. I'm going to try and gather some courage and try and answer your question, sir. There were 2 points I wanted to share with you. Your question brings to my mind the first of those two, and I want to say I fully agree with you. And I would like to capture your question in one word, and that word is individualization. What that means is we are all individuals. At a superficial level, we have lots in common with each other. But it is what we have in uncommon with others that makes us who we are. Our dreams, our ambitions, our weaknesses, our susceptibilities reside in who we are as distinct from who everyone else is. That is what makes each one of us an individual. I think that is what makes Kashmir, Kashmir. Kashmir is not just your state, it is everybody's state. And from all our points of view, what is more important about Kashmir is not what it has in common with every other state. It is what it has in uncommon. And I think the distinguished gentleman here has just pointed out some aspects of Kashmir that are uncommon. And I just want to say, I think you're very right to point this out. That is where you should specialize, whether it's the handicrafts you talked about, whether it's generating power in a green way. That is what will make Kashmir special. That is what will make Kashmir prosper in the way that only Kashmir can. So I want to say I just fully agree with you.
I'd like to add to that, and also like to say that unfortunately we have to close because students have to go for namaz on Friday, so we're not going to impinge on that. But I'd like to just conclude by answering that same question. And I'd like to do it from the mic. This problem of individuality exists in every single state. Whenever a government makes a policy, it makes policies for large numbers of people. And we find that, for example, our education system, very, very focused on engineering, lawyers, doctors. Today some youngsters came and saw me doing stuff that is not related at all to engineering. And there is no space for them. So they feel, well, if I'm not an engineer or a doctor, there's nothing. I was just now talking to Mr. Parekh, and he was telling me that our education system is basically not training people for jobs. It is training people, and then there is a space left where others have to come in, and that's what Team Lease essentially does, is fine-tuning. You have great strengths. All Indian states have great strengths. You will only be able to take advantage of these strengths if your voice is heard, if there is a conversation. If there is a conversation, your government will be forced to realize that, look, there is an issue. And what is important is that the conversation doesn't break down. We are not going to solve Jammu and Kashmir or India's problems sitting in this hall. Nobody in this room is naive enough to believe that. I certainly am not. But what we can do is we can start a process where we have a conversation and say, this is not working. And that is working. Let us start doing that. Let us stop doing this. So that is the spirit of this discussion. I'd like to close by thanking all the business leaders who have come here. They have got many important things to do. And they have given us their time, their experience, and their understanding. At the same time, I'd like to thank all the young students in this room. You also have many interesting and important things to do. So I appreciate that you came here today to listen to these gentlemen. What I want to do is build a partnership that lasts for many years, that lasts our lifetime, and build a partnership that helps Kashmir, Jammu, Ladakh, the rest of the country work together to make people's lives, to build people's futures. Because I'm worried about the future of the youngsters in this room. I want you to have opportunity. I want you to succeed. And I'm ready to help you as much as I can to do that. Thank you once again for coming. All the best.
So thank you very much. Of course, because of Juma today, we will not be able to continue. But I can assure you, I will request all these gentlemen to come back again, not all together, but maybe individually. And Rajiv ji was telling that he's coming in December, and I'm going to call him, make him to talk to you much longer. And definitely, I, on behalf of all of you, thank the panel, and especially Rahul ji, to take so much of pain and interest for the university, and we will be always looking forward for more and more support from them. Thank you very much.
With this, on behalf of University of Kashmir, we would like to extend our gratitude and thanks to Mr. Rahul Gandhi for fulfilling his commitment and making it possible for the dream to become a reality. So let's hear for Mr. Rahul Gandhi.